Welcome to National Eyes. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. The global maritime industry is undergoing a seismic shift, one that is redefining the balance of power on the world's oceans. Once, the dominance of certain nations in shipbuilding seemed unshakable. But today, the tides are turning in unexpected ways. Japan, long celebrated as the world's shipbuilding powerhouse, now finds itself in a surprising position, ordering its most advanced and sophisticated vessels from China, a country that is not only its chief economic competitor but also a strategic rival on the global stage. These high-profile deals, each valued at over $150 million, are more than just business transactions. They mark the beginning of a new era of industrial interdependence, and they raise urgent questions about national security, technological sovereignty, and the resilience of global supply chains. Japanese shipping giants, companies that have long been the backbone of the nation's economic strength, are now increasingly reliant on Chinese state-owned shipyards. This growing dependence exposes new vulnerabilities, especially as geopolitical tensions in the Asia-Pacific region continue to escalate. The world is watching closely as Japan's industrial crown jewel becomes ever more entwined with China's manufacturing might. This unprecedented partnership is forcing governments, businesses, and military strategists alike to re-examine the foundations of global trade, naval power, and economic security. Meanwhile, shifting U.S. policies are putting new pressure on Japanese companies to reconsider their deepening ties with China. The result is a high-stakes geopolitical contest, one that could ultimately reshape the future of maritime trade and the alliances that underpin it. The decisions being made in Tokyo's boardrooms today will send ripples across international alliances, global supply chains, and the very structure of commerce for years to come, as the world's maritime giants navigate an uncertain future. To understand today's upheaval, we must look back to when "Made in Japan" meant shipbuilding excellence. After World War II, Japan's shipyards became global leaders, pioneering innovations like block construction and automation, and launching more than half the world's new ships at their peak. This dominance was fueled by a powerful synergy between government, industry, and finance, an integrated ecosystem known as Japan, Inc. But success bred vulnerability. High costs and a focus on perfection left Japan exposed to leaner competitors, especially South Korea, which soon undercut Japanese yards on price and efficiency. As global markets shifted to prioritize cost, Japan's high-value approach became a liability. The stage was set for a new challenger, one that would use scale and state power to reshape the industry. While Japan and South Korea fiercely competed for dominance, China quietly launched a sweeping state-driven campaign to seize the shipbuilding crown. The Chinese government poured in massive subsidies, provided cheap credit, and mobilized a vast workforce, transforming the industry almost overnight. This was not just about building ships, it was about building national power and global influence. Chinese shipyards began with basic cargo vessels, undercutting global rivals on price and scale. As they gained experience, these yards rapidly consolidated, merging smaller players into industrial giants like the China State Shipbuilding Corporation. The pace of expansion was relentless, with new facilities rising across the coastline. Unlike Japan's market-driven approach, China's government made shipbuilding a core strategic priority. State planners set ambitious targets, coordinated resources, and ensured that shipyards received unwavering support, even during global downturns. This top-down direction allowed China to weather storms that crippled competitors. By the late 2000s, China had overtaken both Japan and South Korea, becoming the world's largest shipbuilder. Today, Chinese shipyards control nearly two-thirds of the global order book, a staggering transformation in just a few decades. No longer content with just bulk carriers, China has moved up the value chain, now building advanced LNG carriers and dual-fuel ships, vessels that were once the pride of Japanese engineering. Chinese yards are now at the forefront of maritime technology and innovation. The merger of China's top shipbuilders created a colossal entity with unmatched scale and resources, integrating both commercial and military ship production. This consolidation has given China unprecedented leverage in the global market. This synergy between commercial and military shipbuilding alarms Western strategists, who now see China's shipbuilding empire as a foundation for both economic power and naval expansion. The world is watching closely as China's ambitions reshape the maritime landscape. China didn't just compete, It fundamentally rewrote the rules of global shipbuilding, harnessing state power to build a maritime empire that is now the envy and the concern of the world. Japanese shipping lines turned to Chinese yards not out of disloyalty, but economic necessity. With razor-thin margins, the cost savings from Chinese-built ships, often tens of millions less per vessel, were impossible to ignore. Japanese yards, hampered by higher costs and a focus on quality, lost out as shipping giants like MOL outsourced their fleet renewals to China. This pragmatic partnership made Japanese shipping globally competitive, but created a strategic paradox. Japan's trade security now depended on its rivals' shipyards. As geopolitical tensions rise, this economic logic is colliding with national security concerns in Tokyo and Washington. What began as a business decision has become a strategic dilemma, forcing a painful re-evaluation of a decade-long trend. In 2025, the US struck back, proposing steep port entry fees for ships built in China, instantly erasing the cost advantage that drew Japanese orders to Chinese yards. The US also blacklisted China State Shipbuilding Corporation, adding political and reputational risk for companies like MOL. In response, MOL's CEO publicly acknowledged the new reality, pausing new Chinese orders and shifting focus to South Korea. US lawmakers introduced the Merchant Marine Allies Partnership Act, incentivizing ship repairs in allied yards by waiving import taxes. This policy aims to cut dependency on China for critical maritime maintenance, reinforcing the security dimension of shipbuilding. The shockwaves from Washington are forcing Japanese industry to pivot, marking a decisive break from the era of Chinese dominance. The global shipping map is being redrawn in real time. The US policy shift is triggering a massive redirection of ship orders and repairs away from China. South Korean yards, like HD Hyundai and Hanwha Ocean, are seizing the opportunity, offering advanced technology and reliability to Japanese and global clients. The Merchant Marine Allies Partnership Act is revitalizing ship repair sectors in Japan and South Korea, ending years of reliance on Chinese overhauls. For Japan, this is both a challenge and an opportunity. A chance to revive its shipyards, but only with major investment and national commitment. The world is splitting into two maritime blocks, one led by China, the other by the US and its allies. The era of choosing shipbuilders solely on price is over. Security and political alignment now drive decisions. The consequences will reshape global shipping costs, alliances, and the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. Industry leaders are sounding the alarm about the rapidly changing landscape of global shipping. Executives at Mitsui O.S.K. Lines, one of Japan's largest shipping companies, have openly acknowledged that it's now difficult to purchase Chinese vessels due to the latest round of U.S. penalties targeting Chinese shipbuilders. This admission marks a significant shift in the industry, as Japanese firms have long relied on Chinese shipyards for affordable and efficient vessel construction. Now, with new restrictions in place, companies are being forced to rethink their procurement strategies and look for alternative suppliers, which is no small feat in such a specialized market. Security experts argue that these changes are not just about economics, they represent a long overdue correction of what many see as a dangerous over-reliance on China for critical maritime infrastructure. For years, analysts have warned that depending so heavily on a single country for essential shipping assets could pose serious risks, especially in times of geopolitical tension or conflict. Now those warnings are being heeded, and the industry is taking steps to diversify its supply chains and strengthen its resilience. US lawmakers are at the forefront of this push, insisting that closer partnerships with trusted allies like Japan and South Korea are crucial to closing loopholes that have long benefited China. By working together, these nations hope to create a more secure and transparent maritime industry, one that is less vulnerable to political pressure and supply disruptions. The effects of this strategic realignment are already being felt in the military sphere. Japan is now considering transferring some of its retired warships to the Philippines, a move designed to strengthen regional security and counterbalance China's growing naval presence. Such transfers not only enhance the capabilities of allied nations, but also signal a new era of defense cooperation in the Asia-Pacific. Economists, however, caution that this shift away from China will not come without costs. Moving production and procurement to other countries is expected to drive up expenses, effectively ending the era of ultra-cheap global supply chains that consumers have come to expect. The transition will require significant investment and adaptation from both businesses and governments, higher shipbuilding and maintenance costs are likely to be passed on to consumers in the form of increased prices for goods. Despite these economic challenges, most experts agree that the strategic and security benefits of reducing dependency on China far outweigh the short-term financial pain. The consensus among industry leaders, security analysts, and policymakers is clear. De-risking from China is not just prudent, but necessary. While this transition will usher in a period of economic adjustment and higher prices, it is seen as a vital step toward a more secure and resilient global maritime industry. Japan's shipbuilding shift is driven by escalating Indo-Pacific security tensions. Relying on Chinese yards for critical vessels creates vulnerabilities, delays, supply disruptions, and even potential cyber risks. Japan is now pressured to divest from China while strengthening its own naval capabilities and regional partnerships, such as transferring ships to the Philippines. China's integrated commercial and military shipbuilding heightens concerns, as the same entity builds both global fleets and warships for the PLA Navy. Japan faces a delicate balancing act, securing vital sea lanes while managing deep economic ties with China. Decoupling from Chinese shipyards is now a core element of Japan's national security strategy. Japan's shipbuilding saga is a cautionary tale about the risks of prioritizing efficiency over security. The era of globalized, cost-driven supply chains is ending. Trust and shared values now shape trade and industry. Parallel supply chains are emerging, one led by China, the other by the US and its allies, raising costs and triggering industrial transition. Japan must rebuild lost capacity without sacrificing competitiveness, as its choices will impact the entire Indo-Pacific. The security of global shipping lanes is at stake, affecting everything from energy to food supplies. The world must weigh the true cost of security in an age of great power rivalry. Decisions made today in Tokyo and Washington will shape the future for decades. Informed vigilance is essential as economics and security become inseparable in the 21st century.